Alright, so we wondered all off season who Georgia's expedition game would be in the basketball season. I'm kind of shocked by the choice. But first I'll say first. Georgia will play Eastern Kentucky October 30th in a charity expedition game. All of the money from this game will go towards the American Red Cross of Georgia disaster relief efforts, and it will help the impact of Hurricane Ida on parts of South Georgia. So, first off, you're playing for a great cause. This is wonderful. A lot of the times, the NCAA will allow these teams to play just random games. I think it's wonderful these games go to charity, especially something like a hurricane. Hurricane Ida was just destruction. It was just pure destruction. So Georgia and Eastern Kentucky could play a basketball game, and it could go to charity. That's absolutely wonderful. That's a good part on Georgia and EKU for signing this agreement. I don't know much about how they pick their expedition games. All I know is most of them have to be charity. I know for a fact you could play it. I think the maximum you could play is 2. The NCAA has weird rules about their expedition games. So, if I'm correct, you could play 1, you could play 2, but I believe that they really don't want you playing them unless, you're preceding something, which obviously is a great cause, and I agree with that. I mean, the season is a preseason game. It's a game that don't matter. If you're playing for something that doesn't matter, at least make it matter, and that's what Georgia and EKU are doing with this game, with the proceeding and all the benefits, everything Georgia gets from this game will go to the American Red Cross of Georgia Disaster Relief to help people recover from Hurricane Ida. Was I shocked it was Eastern Kentucky? Yes. When you look at Georgia's expedition games for the last 2 or 3 seasons, last year they played Georgia College. The year before that they played UAB, the Charlotte 49ers. And they played the Morehead State. The year before that, they played North Georgia, the North Georgia Nighthawks, or something like that. And then they played UAB in 2018-19. I'm trying to remember who it was in 2019-20. It might have been UAB again. It might have been Charlotte or UAB. I don't remember, but you get the point. I was talking to somebody yesterday before they announced the game. I said, this was before they announced the game. I was saying, they played North Georgia, they played Georgia College, so I was probably thinking maybe South Georgia, and Hayden, Eastern Kentucky will be a fun game. Georgia and Eastern Kentucky have played in the past. We'll actually Google that record right now. I know for a fact they have played in the past because they played just quite a few years ago now. History. There we go. So this is a very, very interesting matchup. They have played... I was right. They have played twice. And Georgia is 2-0 against the Colonels. They won in 2005, 76 to 68, and then their last meeting was on New Year's Eve, 12/31/2010. Georgia won 64 to 57. So they've only played twice. Make it a third time, although it's an expedition game, so it really won't count towards anything. These games were regular season games, but this one is not. I personally want to thank Georgia and East Carolina for this game. It's going to be wonderful to see the boys back on court, and I'm sure why do I keep calling them East Carolina? Eastern Kentucky will be just as great and happy to see their boys back on the court. And like I said at the beginning of the video, man, these games, you want to make them worth something. They're not going to matter in 10 years. If you just play a practice game, they're not going to matter. I believe the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, I believe the MLB does the spring training. I believe they should have some of these games go to stuff like this, because Hurricane Ida just destroyed South Georgia. I mean, it was absolutely heartbreaking. So if a basketball game could help raise awareness for stuff like this, then everybody should be doing it, man. I know there are a few teams playing expedition games soon. Georgia Southern will play North Augusta. Tennessee will be playing one soon, I believe. And then you got like Kansas and Illinois playing each other for the to help the Maui wildfires. I mean, I'm sitting there saying like, yes, that's an awesome thing. The Maui wildfires are heartbreaking. All these natural disasters and everything are heartbreaking, and that's what I'm saying. If we can do our part, like if we can just go to a basketball game and help that, I'd do it 100 times. But and then also Georgia's tip times and everything, times and channels got released yesterday. They kind of, as someone who listens to the game on the radio, I kind of just like, well, okay, that's cool, I guess. But I thought they would have it right here, yeah. Wake Forest, Georgia Tech, and High Point will be on the SEC Network. Georgia's conference opener will be on the SEC Network. The Bahamas Championship will be on CBS Sports Network. So if you have that channel, you can watch those games. They will have... I was trying to see when they... I was trying to see if they had any, just a list I could go down on, but apparently on Georgia Dolls they don't. And then it also says in this article, Georgia will host a charity expedition game with versus Eastern Kentucky. Okay, here's a little about Eastern Kentucky. The expedition versus Eastern Kentucky which was picked to win the Atlantic Sun this season, will be a benefit for the American Red Cross. Georgia disaster relief efforts due to the impact of Hurricane Ida. Her tickets go on sale October 16th. It will be $5. With seating for Georgia first come first served UGA students will be admitted free with a valid UGA ID. So, just once again, thank you to Georgia and East Carolina. I've been wondering for seeing teams that everybody almost has their schedule now. Everybody almost has their expedition games, their conference games, their non-conference games. You could be like a team like Duke that plays a non-conference slate that has like 1 or 2 conference games, and then you play more non-conference games, and then eventually you end out conference play. So there's a lot of teams releasing their schedules right now, and I'm just like reading this every day. And I'm sitting there saying like, okay, like when's Georgia finally going to release theirs? And wonderful, you could not have chose a better team than Eastern Kentucky. It will be a challenge. They are predicted, like I just said, they are predicted to win the Atlantic Sun. They are not a pushover. Even if it is just an expedition game, you still want to look good, because Georgia has the benefit of a very, very tough non-conference schedule, playing Florida State, Oregon, Miami, Georgia Tech, Providence, or even Kansas State even. So it's going to be a rough non-conference schedule, and then the SEC is just as brutal as any other conference. But yeah, Georgia has released their expedition game October 30th at 6:30 p.m. versus the Eastern Kentucky Colonels. at Stegman Coliseum, the newly renovated Stegman Coliseum, might I add. So, yeah, Georgia's basketball schedule. It was 99% complete last week. You've got the non-conference games down. You have got the conference games down. I can now officially say Georgia's basketball schedule is 100% complete. And what a journey this has been, bro. Like, I checked the D1 docket every other hour during the summer. I would just be waiting. I would check social media and the D1 docket and like John Ranestein online like every day to see, because there was at one point we only knew, okay, well, you know, Georgia's going to play Georgia Tech, Georgia's going to play Wake Forest, you know, then their automatic conference games, Florida, Auburn, and South Carolina. So you knew there was only a few confirmed games, and then they just come out and then they come out and say Georgia's going to be playing Oregon, Georgia's going to be playing Miami, and then, you know, you get like High Point and Alabama A&M, and all the other teams that got into the non-conference slate. Mercer. A lot of people don't realize, and I said it quite a few times, I was told by somebody Mercer would be on the schedule. I'm not sure when. I originally thought it was going to be to open up the season, but they're still going to play Mercer somewhere in the season. It's going to be near the end of conference play, but it's going to be near the end of non-conference play. So, you know, it's just been really exciting to finally build to have this officially done. It's like, it's kind of sad too, but at the end of the day, that means the season's almost here. We're almost at basketball season. Georgia Southern plays a game in a few weeks. Georgia will play October 30th, and then the season opens November 6th. So, Georgia's road to the Final Four will start October 30th against the Eastern Kentucky Colonels, 6:30. There's not been a television station released yet. I'm sure it will be on the radio, unless they're playing in football that week. I don't know if they're playing in football. They actually might be playing football that week. I'm actually about to look that up. Nah, they're playing Georgia Tech, so wait. Oh yeah, October 30th, that's after they play Florida. I don't know how I got Georgia Tech. They're playing Florida October 28th. So that's just 1 or 2 days removed from the Georgia-Florida football game. But, you know, hopefully Scott and Chuck and Adam could do that game on the radio. If not, maybe get Jeff and Mark Sloniker. I just kind of want it to be just televised, you know, even if they don't do it on the radio, at least just be televised so we can watch it. Because, you know, it is a big deal to me. It won't be a big deal to a lot of people, but it is a big deal to me to be able to watch Georgia and Eastern Kentucky. So, like I said 100 times, October 30th, Georgia and Eastern Kentucky, the Hoop Dogs versus the Colonels, 6:30, first come, first serve, at Stegman Coliseum. And Georgia's road to the Final Four and SEC Championship will start there. So, let's go Hoop Dogs. Georgia's schedule is now completely done. There is no more. It's no more. It's done. And now we just wait for the season to start.